on. Sorry, pardon me. I was just jamming out to that jaunty little tune. You might have noticed we've got a little intro thing now, but welcome. Where are my manners to Play Dicely After Party? My name is Christy Clow, and this is the Talkback Show where myself, my wonderful castmates, and incredible DM of our adventures discuss the most recent episodes of Play Dicely, which is our D&D actual play show that airs live here on Twitch every other Sunday at 6 p.m. Now, if you happen to be watching this little number on YouTube, or the VOD here on Twitch, you might be hearing some music. And if you're like, dang, this sounds so good, I want to listen to it all the time, then you need to check out Tim from Tabletop Audio. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. So this is a bit of a hefty episode. We are doing three episodes of Play Dicely. I'm gonna try and keep it concise, and it's probably not gonna happen, so just get right into it. Which first I actually have to start with questions from a previous episode because Adam wasn't here for the last one. So I don't actually remember what episodes these are from, but they're both for you. So firstly, you received a sensor in one of our loot drops as you were exploring this dungeon. That basically allows, it was designed for Illumbrites to be able to feel inside their Argonvoludian bodies. And we were all very excited about that, but you took it off secretly because you do all of your character moments privately. What was the reason for Abe doing that and also not telling us?
I mean, I think it got covered in the episode, really. He just, especially with that debuff from just being in the Illumbrite ruin, I think it would just be too new, too much stimulation for a situation that was demanded like clarity and all that kind of stuff. As for not telling anyone, I just didn't think of it. There's bigger stuff going on.
What could you possibly mean? I don't think there's anything.
There's nothing coming up. No imminent super mega ultra death.
I think so. That would sound familiar to me, but you never know.
Sorry to interrupt. I think there's a car alarm going off in the background.
Yes, my neighbor has a very very active car alarm, I'm afraid.
Oh, very good.
Love this happens often. Okay.
It's been several years of a very active car alarm.
I'm surprised this is the first we're hearing of it. Maybe it's because I got you to turn yourself up too much today.
I also spend most of Dicely muted.
That is true.
That's
I
fair.
have enthusiastic drivers for neighbors.
Love it.
well.
The other part, which I feel like maybe got also discussed in an episode, but I can't remember anything more because it's all a blur. But how was Abe feeling about the fact that Gideon shot at him? Obviously, it was under not his own influence, but
In the moment, definitely a little tense. A bit of a tense situation.
fair enough.
But I think there's been several instances of people being mind controlled in the past, right? Of people accidentally attacking others.
Out there?
I mean, you have.
You've done it.
I've been
Yeah,
confused before.
Yeah, I think Gideon is also, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Have you attacked?
Yes, but I missed both times, I think.
Gotta get
That's
There's
true.
a
When we were in
precedent.
the workshop, you got confused and
Yeah.
you went to
That's
roll
right.
to see who you attacked, and you either attacked an enemy anyways or you missed. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. Fun times. We're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
well.
I shot an enemy with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Azaria attacked Nell during this same fight where Gideon shot at Abe.
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah, but your armor is way too thick.
That's right. My brain armor is too, because I don't even remember that happening. So
You were like, where's my sword? Ping.
oh yeah, I was a little distracted for some reason. Anywho, great. So notable things from this episode. We encounter a sentry that had no idea what had happened with Illumbria. We managed to chat with them just a little bit, and I'm not going to linger too much on that, but they are very cool. because we've got bigger things to fry, and I have a request from everyone, and it's put your freaking tinfoil hats on right now. Make sure they're comfy, because they're gonna be on the whole dang episode, team.
Yeah.
Because we're about to get into it. Okay. So
Start from the top. We've got 8 pages of notes.
I know. I was reading it over today, and I was like, I am not reading this whole thing. So I tried to kind of focus on main things, and then if you guys have something that I missed that you're like, gotta talk about this, please let me know. Everyone's popping into this group Lore document now. Perfect.
Just for everyone at home, we do have a 8-page document that we're all sharing right
this
now.
This is just the Lorekeeper Chambers Q&A. I just basically transcribed that. That's what this one is. We have a separate lore doc that is longer than this also.
I do not look at their lore docs so as to ensure that I don't correct them on anything they're wrong about.
Oh, great.
That's the absolute worst. That's so rude.
That is such a Chad DM move.
I hate it. Okie dokie. Okay, so here's the first thing that really jumped out at me is we learn that the void planes would view the positive planes in the same way that we view them, kind of a vice versa thing, and that someone that is created by the void could potentially be healed by void energy. So my first question is, how are we going to blast Rio with some void energy to test this theory? Because I want to know.
That is a big
do
question.
we have to test that theory, though?
I mean, it's been established that me and Rio are kind of like the researchers of the group, so I feel like we can find
for science.
For science.
That's last episode. I didn't even talk about what episodes we're covering. I just said 3 and moved the fuck on. Oopsie. Okay, sorry. We are talking about episode 45 right now. Illumbria Has Fallen, aka One More Question, the true title.
There was another AKA, wasn't there?
I don't remember now.
/ Unbearable Truths. I forgot.
Unbearable
We got into a
Truths,
whole
right,
bear
because
thing.
there were
at the
so
end of
many
this.
bears. Yes. I forgot about the bear ones. Anywho, cool. I think that's all I had to ask about. I just want to blast Rio with some void energy.
I don't know how you think that's gonna happen.
I don't know.
One of us just has to make a deal with
No.
a void entity.
We don't.
Maybe we don't
I think
have
one of
deal.
us already has.
So
I didn't do it.
when we visit the stranger, Rio's front and center, taking all the blows, getting so buff from it.
We just have to get a void rock for Gideon's gauntlet.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah, I'll shoot some void bullets. That sounds cool as hell.
Sounds absolutely terrifying, but anyway.
Big evil Gideon vibes.
Yeah, not the way I saw it going down, but I don't hate it either because it'd be really interesting. So, all right, number 2 thing that was interesting to me is that argan veludium, aka life oil or encasing, protected Illumbrites as they traveled and would take on different appearances depending on what plane they traveled to. Same with how they died. Thus, the statues that we saw throughout were the bodies of Illumbrites, unfortunately. A question I had from this is, do you think that someone in Circumund has gone to one of these ruins and found one of those statues and is like a rich fuck and just put it up in their house and just has that?
Oh, God. I think you were pretty close to doing that.
I have a piece. I still have it. So I'm going to be starting a museum, so.
That's the future.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's like this, what was that, like, human body exhibit where they have, like, the actual, like, human, like, nervous
Bodywork.
systems and stuff? You can do that. Bodyworks, yeah, but you can do that with the Illumbrites, yeah.
I remember that as a child. Very interesting.
It's just like a police chalk drawing on the ground. This is what they look like.
Just blobs.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, number 3. This is a direct quote from Dallas's notes. These Illumbrites seem to exist as balance seekers on the positive side of the energy divide. Interesting as they claim to be neutral. And that is interesting to me. Like, how are they neutral if they're like...
Yeah, because I think they said something specifically about how they're like, oh, I hope there's someone on their side doing the same thing. But we've always viewed them as a neutral thing, but it seems like they are positive. I don't know, I got confused when I was reading back through this.
I'm also confused.
It's an interesting concept, like where you have, D&D in itself has these realms of positive and negative energy, and I've kind of doubled that in on itself to have like mirrored of that. But, if you guys are in the positive plane, you have good, neutral, and evil there, and on the opposite side is like the void. It's almost like those three elements still exist: good, neutral, and evil. They're just kind of in reverse. So it's like the Illumbriates are neutral. They just are the neutral in the positive planes.
Okay.
Sure.
The way I interpreted it as me as well as Drac is there's, in the positive planes we want to avoid extremes. So that's what neutrality is trying to avoid extremes in either way. So if it becomes extremely evil, then we got to stop that. But I think in just the universe itself has ways to keep it from becoming extremely good. But I don't think humanity or mortality could ever get it to that point on their own.
Sure, but these guys work across multiple universes. And it feels like they have a bias for the positive plane since they hang out here. Well,
and that's my other question. Is Illumbria considered a positive plane?
Well, so we keep calling this... So, okay, let's back away from this divide here for a second of the void and the positive. There are positive, just considering what D&D has. We have positive planes, we have the material planes, we have negative planes. The negative planes are the hells, positive planes are, Celestia, those kind of things. So, negative, positive, neutral, they all exist in the universe you guys reside in, which we keep calling the positive part of the universe or whatever. But perhaps we should change that positive to whatever the opposite of void is. You have the void plane, or the void universe, and the life universe. The Illumbrites are the neutral, I guess, force of the life universe.
Yes.
Okay, that is very helpful. That makes sense to me.
And where
also,
in the
it looks
universe,
like it looks like my internet is running incredibly slow, so I'm going to go investigate that. You guys keep talking.
Okay.
What I was going to say is where in the life universe there are still creatures who live that, seek to do evil, but they're still part of the life universe.
Yeah, I think that clarifies things for me.
Yeah, I think it's still that they are the neutral force in here, but they still act across. Okay, but they act
according to the laws of life, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
To keep the void from overtaking the life planes.
And that's the other interesting thing too that we learn later on is that they I was wondering about if they had any way of tracking the balance. And they said there would be reconnaissance done, but they cannot enter the void plane without perishing.
Oh yeah, true.
So that part was also confusing to me. I'm but I guess knowing they're not there's not a middle part where they actually are residing, that I guess it kind of makes more sense maybe.
For some reason I thought that they existed between both.
Well, it doesn't sound like that, right?
Yeah,
it sounds like they're they're part of the life side, and then there's the void side.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I got confused too, because I also thought they sat in the middle between these two things, but they don't. They sit in the middle of our thing.
Right. So I guess there's
and they're just I hope there's someone. Well, and I think we've seen that with the Wilder and Darkest Heart are mirrored versions of themselves, right? So in theory, there are mirrored versions of all of these things.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's interesting too, right? Because Darkest Heart is a thing in the life realm, right?
I thought it was in the void realm. Okay, now we need Teni back. But in my mind,
we'll come back to that.
I think that's in the void realm. because I thought it was just the
It's just
like
like
the
an entry
void
point.
version of the Wilder, which is the life.
Oh, okay.
Which is that's what I thought it was.
Huh. So would that put our planet in the middle then?
I think so. I think the material, well, like the material plane is the neutral part of the life. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think the material plane is like the sort of true neutral zone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also Illumbria is
It's
somewhere.
the middle of the
Yeah.
Venn diagram.
Right.
Okay.
Huh.
At least
Wait,
that's
so
my
what's-
understanding.
So Celestia is the other side of it, right?
Well, that
No,
would
because
be
I think like
the
within the
pinnacle
life.
of
Whatever
of
Did you-
positivity.
Did you guys make
Oh,
progress?
Danny, help.
Danny, help.
Well, the good news is
We
the
got
internet
more
should be
confused.
fine now.
Okay.
Well, that's good. We got really lost in the plot.
Yeah.
Okay, what's
Okay,
happening?
so-
What to do?
So is Darkest Heart part of the Void realm, or is it a Void thing within the Life realm?
Let's call it. It is a closet
no.
within the life realm, which a lot of monsters and void energy
Oh my
has been put
God.
into.
Okay.
I've gotten so confused.
Interesting. That's
Okay, sure.
Well, because like if you wait, no.
No, I thought I understood, but now I don't.
I thought I was
Here,
about to crack it, but
let me put it like this: if you guys ever end up in a realm that is actually in the void universe, you would be instantly dead.
Oh, good
You
to know.
can never
Oh,
go
so that's
to
why
the void universe.
the Illumbrites also can't. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you are life, that is void. That is void is the obliteration of life, and life is the obliteration of void.
Right. So okay, so then what I was about to think or say might actually be kind of true, which is that like having Darkest Heart in this side of things is part of that balance, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's
That
probably
makes it-
some sort of equivalent, like lifey plane or yeah, lifey plane over on the other side.
Happy lifey, happy wifey.
Can that be the next campaign?
Yeah.
In-
Because
in
now
the
I'm curious,
lifey
I'm like, what is
Plane?
that? What does that look like?
What does the lifey plane look like, Denny?
And then we want to go to the wifey plane.
The wifey
Whatever it
plane,
looks like
please.
to the denizens of the void universes, it would be grotesque. It would be apparent to whatever it is that they consider their existence.
Hmm. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
I was going to
Great.
say that I really felt like after this episode, I really started to understand the Illumbrytes, but it turns out maybe I didn't.
I mean, we're getting closer at least.
I feel like I understand it
established
much
my-
better than I did.
When I establish my museum, then
That's
you'll,
when I'm going to figure it out.
yeah, you'll really know, and I will too, hopefully. It's like my other question is whether or not like they didn't really get into the specifics of how they maintain balance and like were they fighting? Like were they warriors? Like what were they doing? Were they spies?
Well,
Like, were they
it's-
assassinating?
I mean, based on what you guys found, they were like, apparently they did research. Apparently they had weapons and whatnot. So you can glean from whatever you can from that.
I think we made it very clear that we can glean very little from.
Well,
For
that's
many.
why I
We
don't
actually
look at
need
the
you to
notes.
spell it out for us, please.
Nah, I think I've
He's
given you enough.
stupid. Great.
Okay. Well, we tried, gang.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that the druids are similar, like they serve a similar function to the Umbrites, but in a much more localized within
Localized.
their realm.
hmm
Their druids are basically grassroots activists.
Yeah, so the druids are just doing it like in the material.
Like that's kind of where they're based, and that's kind of where they can act, and that's where their power comes from. So it's like,
Okay.
if a druid could do more, sure, I'm sure they probably would go out into the cosmos and fix problems, but their druids are tied to the material plane. They might have
Gotcha.
knowledge beyond, but
Okay. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, did they chat? Or like, was there kind of like a Can't even think of the word.
Like FaceTime or something.
Like, yeah, like did they delegate, like, all right, you guys are taking this, and the rest we're gonna go here.
All speculation. Nothing you have answers to.
I know. This is the fucking point of the tinfoil hat corner is for speculation.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know we were still in it.
We will not leave.
I said we're not leaving the entire episode.
Yeah. We actually haven't left.
If I had enough time, I was actually going to make a hat, like in real life, to wear this entire thing, but I.
Amazing.
Okay, so other big bomb drop. Vishtok is a being of balance created by the oldest deities of Medozin. And then Vishti was spawned from Vishtok. The dragon split and became 5 other deities. Also, now I'm like, who are the oldest deities? Do we know who those are, firstly? Is that like Awe?
Are those like the greater gods?
Is that what the high... Wait. Wait. I don't know who's in the high planetary.
I know, I need to open another goddamn document.
Oh my god. Documentception.
I have 3 open already.
God damn.
Where's my Arcanet one?
I don't have that
Not
one
even
saved
Arcanet.
because I technically wasn't allowed to read it, but I read it anyways later.
So the High Planetary
Ruby
consists
rules.
of a majority of those older gods,
Okay.
but some of them are cultural gods from, like, the pantheons of different people.
Right, like Logan's old character, and I'm assuming Equinbach is not an old deity.
Actually, Equinbach is an old deity.
Oh my god, I want Equinbach to be like the one that that's crafted Vishtok. That would be really.
Pretty funny.
So
Equinbach, best god.
the original gods were Ah and Ao, and then they created Equinbach. Frig, the religious characters. I've given you a doc on this.
It's somewhere. I don't know where it is.
You have them listed in the factions and organizations doc.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I do have that.
In the group-
Equinbach,
Oh, not
Eris,
the group lore doc.
Lay, which is now the Arcanet, was one of the first. Was it the 3 of them? Yeah, I think there were a few more gods in the second wave beyond them. But yeah, and then we go into a divide of the unseen gods versus the natural gods. Oh, the natural gods. Agogidus, Rowane, and Meadow, though they were also part of the second wave.
This is my first time, I think, seeing Equinbach spelled.
What document is this in?
I'm gonna put
I don't
this
The
in the
even
chat.
factions and organizations.
That's how it's spelt for you, chat.
Oh shit.
Oh.
That is absolutely not.
No. I was like, oh, it's like
Because I thought it was
Equin.
gonna be like Equin, like
Yeah.
E-Q-U.
Fuck you, I'm gonna break
Yeah.
your language rules.
Fair. That's honestly
fair.
so fair. Okay.
English doesn't have language rules. We just make it up.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on from that shook me. Okay, but the 5 deities that it was split into were Ro, Vishti, Meadow, and Aka. Which they're not in the Pantheon, and then an unknown god, which I'm like, who the fuck's the unknown god?
Mhm.
Is it one that we like know in the sense that they like we know them, but not that they're connected to that, or do we just not know them at all? 'Cause
Why
if
would I tell
that's
you
the
that?
case- I know, Danny. I'm speculating.
Oh, sorry.
Well, this is where my theory comes in.
Okay,
I have
perfect.
a theory about the 5th god.
Great, bring it. I'm
I
pulling it
think
down
it's the
further. I never left.
Stranger. That's my
Ooh.
newest theory.
Yeah.
I'm
That's what I
with
was
you
fucking
there,
wondering.
Dallas. I'm
Yeah,
with you
that is
there.
exactly it.
Because there's obviously
Okay.
some sort of connection between the stranger. Because we now know that all these druids are avatars of those
Yeah.
gods that split from Vishtok, right?
Mhm.
And there's some
Yeah.
sort of connection between these druid enclaves and the stranger because they keep telling me pieces of its name in these places.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wrote down notes. I did think about this. That first druid really fucking angry when I brought this up. Did not
Mhm.
like me to ask questions about it.
No.
Yeah, the names that we found for the stranger. The first one was the Eye of Fear, which made sense to me for reasons I'll explain someday. But this one we found was Defier of the Deities. And at that point, I was like, I don't know what that means. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, sorry, these deities? The deities we're talking about right now? The
Interesting.
deities that no one wants to talk about a 5th deity? perhaps because they defied them. Very interesting.
That makes sense.
Okay.
One of the heads of Ishtok was evil.
Yep.
Stranger's pretty evil.
True.
Could
And
also
then
been
there's
chaos,
also
though.
That's true.
oh, could also have been chaos.
That
Very
would line
fun
up with
for
the
me.
Rogue vibes.
Honestly, literally any of them.
That's also a theory. Like
Any
I-
force of the universe can become extreme.
the more I've like thought about this whole balance situation, it's been like every head of Vishtak has the potential to be the stranger.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
totally.
Neat.
So Dallas, on this theory, the stranger is the Vishtak dragon of good, and they just really wanted to help you out of the forest, and we're like, you know what, you would also appreciate having a long life, so be a child
but
forever.
But
You
Denny,
eternal
but
youth.
Denny,
How could you not?
who defines what good is, really? And when you're a god,
Maybe it's
and
good
when
for them.
maybe you've grown hateful of your siblings, and they don't respect you because you're always so even keel, and eventually you snap, but you've still got the title, and then you get pissed off and you walk away, and then the world gets thrown out of balance, and then they're like, what the fuck, why is the world out of balance? And then you're like, I don't know, maybe because I'm the god of good and you guys don't pay attention to me at all, and I'm sick of it. And then you walk away and the world's fucked and the void consumes everything.
And as Denny pointed out before, the void has a different perspective than the positive planes, so maybe the head of good was consumed by the void and now good has been tainted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and
there's
obviously the good head being the stranger is a hard sell.
It is. It's a hard sell, but there's nobody
other
is
options
infallible.
Make more sense. But
Nobody
yeah.
is infallible.
Yeah, it's true.
Gods are
And then also-
imperfect.
When I asked the Lorekeeper if they knew anything about the stranger, they were like, that information has been scrubbed clean by the greater deities. I'm like, well, that sounds bad too, right?
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
also when
Yeah.
we asked Huyan, I'm skipping ahead 3 episodes. When we asked him about the 5th person, he was
that's
like,
what I was gonna say.
the
yeah.
greater deities tell us nothing. And I was like, that sounds an awful lot like what the Lorekeeper said when I asked the stranger, to be honest.
Yeah, what I have from that is that that the 5th one didn't make it, although the details have been kept from him, and he wasn't sure who kept this information, but was assuming it was the gods. So I think you're right about that. That to me seems correct.
In the last 3 episodes, that's the theory that has developed in my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I should do? I should ask Huyan which of the heads he was.
That'd be a good
Well,
question.
How the fuck did we not ask that?
That's a good question because I was preoccupied with other thoughts.
It didn't even occur to me for whatever reason. Okay, now I need to know some things. Okay, so
I'll send him a message.
Ro is
Text him.
the god of
Water and death.
water and death. Like I'm writing this in, so I just can map this out perhaps. Vishti is the god of.
Air and time.
Is this somewhere? And I
So
just
probably that guy.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, so probably Vishti, which makes sense because you thought
Yeah,
you were
but
talking.
which
Ishtar.
head was he?
Like
What's
out
a-
of the
Uh,
good, evil,
The
law,
cosmic
chaos,
Oh,
and
okay.
power.
forces of the universe.
Gotcha, okay.
Which head was he?
I'm trying to like map these out. Meadow. I also have the note here. It was named for the greater deity, but separate from it. What does that mean?
It was like named after it, as if they were like, Meadow Jr.
Yeah, because
So
Meadow
they
is
share
the
the
like,
name of their
main
parent.
gods, and this is
Yeah.
not the same Meadow.
Hey, Julia, what you doing?
So the one that's listed in the thing here that says the god of nature and medicine is that.
That is
Senior?
not the Dragon Meadow. Yeah, that's right.
That's senior.
Hey, what the fuck?
That's why I made the note, because I was getting confused too.
So what is this meadow the god of?
Well, Earth and I'm trying to find my
We're gonna
document
go
now
chat with that
myself.
guy.
Let's see. Earth and life.
Life. Okay. And then a Ka.
Fire and soul.
I love that. Okay. And so the heads are. You're muted if you're talking.
The alignments
You're just
and
counting
power.
things out in my head here.
The alignments and power. So good, evil, neutral.
No. Law,
Yeah.
chaos, and power.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, there's no dragon for neutral.
The point is that all 5 of the heads maintain the neutrality
Oh, right.
by resting the universe on their heads.
Not anymore.
It's a really
Apparently
cool
not.
religion.
Thanks.
Okay.
I destroyed it.
I was going to say,
sure did.
Busto. Scott,
But
I
it's
do have
good
a
to have a
question for you
belief.
about that, Denny.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, based on the fact that all the druids are avatars of Vishtak and also have elements tied to them, did you have this idea ready to go when Drac was originally going to be a monk of the 4 elements?
That was actually a question I had too. Is like, how did this like work between the 2 of you and creating like the deities and all that?
Well, I knew from the beginning that, we've got a character who's got, a religious tie. And I was like, all right, I love, as a cleric player myself, I'm like, I love to mess with, these stories of belief and like subverting and growth and like changing perspective.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to completely destroy everything you had created.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, I observed what you had created, and I was like, wow, this feels very much, in line with what Azaria believes. And I was like, there's the connection. They're the same.
That's so cool.
I do
Yeah,
like
that's
how
the
you
other
did
question
it.
I had with like that was gonna be for Logan is like same thing, I guess. Like for like druid gods, like did you guys work on that together or did you kind of like bring that to him?
It was actually Logan that created the druidic gods.
What the fuck?
So you two essentially
It
created
just
your own
worked?
gods, and I went, they're the same.
They're the same.
Wait,
Wow.
did Logan also come up with Vishti then?
I think we named them together,
Okay.
so I might
Did
have
you
planted
steer
that
him?
seed.
Yeah, okay. You sneaky little bugger.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Well done, Denny. Well done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Masterfully woven, as always.
Oh boy. Cool. Just for now that we're trying to parse all of this, do any of the 5 that we have the names for now, are there any other names that are associated with them that we should know about? Or is like this like how they're like is Ro, Vishti, Meadow, are those the druidic names or are those like the common?
Those are the names of the druidic deities. However,
Yeah.
each of those names is tied to a greater deity. Like, well, in this case, Vishti, is tied to Vishtak. Meadow is the
Right.
exact same as Meadow. Aka is actually under Agajidus, and Ro is Rowane.
Oh,
Very close.
Jesus Christ. I knew that my fucking like conspiracy part. I'm so confused. Ro is Rowan?
Rowan.
Rowan.
Oh Lord, okay.
So it's like they're named for these other deities, but they're not, they're more like their creations.
Mm.
Great. So not quite like a Roman and Greek god thing where it's like Aphrodite and Venus.
Yeah, no, not
But
quite
more like
that.
as if like Aphrodite had like created like okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Aphrodite was like, oh, what would be a good name, but also honors me?
Mm.
That's so interesting. So it's
It's
like,
like real Aphrodite energy.
Yeah.
oh, I think that's so cool actually because I think for the longest time I was thinking it was like everyone kind of had like a different piece of what it was, but it's actually both are right in parallel because it wasn't that like the druids were like a different like they just the different names for the gods. It's like a completely different set of gods but named after. Whoa, that's interesting. I have to think about this for a while. How did this I'm gonna type while you talk. How did this reveal affect Drac? Go.
Okay, go. Yeah, it was very obviously a big revelation and kind of definitely shakes the foundation of his whole belief system. But I think just because of, what Drac's been through with the party and the fact that he's always been able to rely on whatever his faith gives him, I think the switch of like the figurehead doesn't matter because he still believes in the balance of the universe. So whoever is, the image that he worships, it doesn't matter to him. He believes in what his friends are doing. He believes in what he's doing. I think that's enough to fuel his fire, so to speak.
That makes sense. Side note, what were the syllables that you've gotten so far of the stranger's name, Dallas?
Bell and Lot.
How, like, E-L?
B-E-L, and then the second one is L-A-T.
Okay.
Are you trying to figure it out?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, what god were, like, they named after.
Yeah.
I want him to be Equinbach.
Ooh, that'd be
So
fun.
funny.
Walk into the forest, just a guy with a horse's head.
Yeah, it's like a huge detail you just never mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, by the way.
I say nay.
Yeah.
Oh
Helen
my
has a
God.
great fear of horses. Never come up, but
Never come. Not with the 7 horses that we owned as a
Yeah.
party.
Look, I never ride on one of those horses. I'm in the carriage all the time.
Boy. Okay. So I mean, we just kind of talked a little bit about the stranger, but I feel like every time we learn something, it's not really like good, but at
No.
least it's something. You feeling good?
Oh, we're fine. Oh, we're fine.
Yeah?
I have a new plan. I have a whole
Uh-oh.
new plan. I don't care about this at all. I'm gonna figure this all out on my own. It's fine.
Famously, it worked out
here's
for
the
you.
thing. Right. No, you know what hasn't worked out for me is working with other people hasn't worked out for me. So I have a new strategy and it involves no one else.
Mm,
I'm gonna
okay.
figure this out all on my own.
Is this like you're gonna leave the
Move
group?
cotton.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's good, at least. Alrighty then. Nell doesn't know this yet, but she's already crushed. She's like, my notes. Okay. Try and like unravel this thread. Malden is an extraplanar entity that struck a deal with a mortal, granting them power deities. What
I
mortal?
forgot we talked about this at all.
Yeah,
Oh.
what mortal was able to grant that kind of power is my question.
Didn't Malden grant them
granted
the power?
a mortal the power.
Yeah.
Okay, Dallas, your notes.
Him the mortal. Not
What?
him, Malden.
Oh, I
I
can't
don't
read.
No, I can see how I wrote that strange as well.
Malden is also a they, I believe, right, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be.
I think
changed.
most of the gods are.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
they're not a god. Who knows?
They might not care too much on such semantics.
I just thought
Yeah.
of a
Fair
funny
enough.
joke.
Go for it.
So if Malden was in fact a bald guy, it's because he is malding all the time. Malden is Malden.
I like how you said like if they were in fact, as if like this is something we've discussed. Like, remember our fake theory that Malden's bald? Well,
I'm just saying, he's a very angry man.
Can't be that angry to have all your hair. Come on.
That's right. It's what malding is. You get so mad you go bald.
Oh
okay.
my god.
Welcome to the internet. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay, so Malden granted a mortal power. So was this mortal likely the first chosen then? Or I guess the only chosen or something, presumably?
Probably.
maybe. Interesting. And then offered him a plane that they created for him. Is that who was offered the plane? Did Malden offer mortal a plane, or was Malden offered a plane?
All right. Because this is information that has been dispensed during the game, I will
confused.
clarify this. Malden was offered a plane by
By
the deities
why?
because his servant was decimating the religious population of the material plane.
Okay. So they're like, you
Interesting.
Call off
You
your
take
dog, we'll
this.
give you your plane. You can feel like a god.
That's so cool.
so that's
I love
the
that.
the Fields of Paradise or whatever it is.
The Crimson Sands of Paradise, yeah.
Crimson Sands Paradise.
Feels like a very like Switzerland move. Just wave the white flag and
Yeah.
I mean, when I don't know, I get it.
oh, sorry, France.
Hey, let us Let us
Sorry,
remember
Swiss. You guys are all right.
that France was a very potent military power until World War II, and then everyone just.
We're not talking about France. We don't have time. Moving on.
Anyways, I get the move. I get it. It's fair. You know,
Well,
when you're a
and-
god and you need your followers to have power, and some guys just going
Yeah.
on around just John Wicking them all, like I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part makes sense because there's a whole thing. It's like a god is only as powerful as their believers, sort of thing. So I get that.
I wonder if that's why the stock split. Just, you know, spread the love, get more followers for different versions of itself.
Although, to be
love-
fair, I don't know. Maybe Denny's gods work differently.
Be
I
interesting.
mean, probably. We'll never know.
Okay, I have more Malden stuff, but we're gonna save it for later. Oh my god. Okay, so the Midnight Sun is known as Daedalus.
I want to
Oh,
interrupt by asking, how many big points did you make for this discussion?
For the
We're still on the
for lore?
Lorekeeper stuff, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Look, Teni, you
Less
said
than
ask us any
200.
questions.
But
And we
Christy
asked
also said we're
questions.
going to stick to the big topics.
We
And
are.
now-
We're
I
skipping
am.
tons of questions.
Midnight Sun is kind of a big deal, my dude.
yeah,
I listen, it's not because of the Midnight Sun. I was just curious how many we're going through.
I have
Interesting.
5 more points, but like a couple of them are small. Is that okay? Can I host my show the way I want to fucking host it, Denny? Or do you want to talk more with your numb mouth, huh? What's up?
Uh-oh.
I went to the dentist before this. I'm half functioning.
Well, you're running your mouth like you normal functioning, my guy.
Oh!
Jesus. okay.
Damn! Well said.
The Midnight
Okay, no, wait,
Sun-
I counted quickly. There's about 55 questions in here, so we're skipping a good chunk of them.
Yeah. Thank you. Was this section not 2 hours long of the episode at least? So
Yeah.
we're doing pretty good.
I just,
Alright.
I just sat and watched.
Yeah. My brain
You guys had so many
exploded.
questions.
And even now I'm like, oh, there was so much more I should have
There's
asked.
more
but-
questions I have now, yeah.
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 Okay. So the Midnight Sun is known as Daedalus. Again, direct quote from Dallas's notes. In the event of extreme imbalance, the Daedalus is set to be activated and collect all fiendish and celestial energy from within the positive planes. Now, a question I had about this that has now been clarified for us was like, why just the positive planes? But I think we now know that means like the life realm, right? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Helpful. I'm gonna start referring to it for that. Is that now on? The positive planes is out because it's too confusing.
Yeah,
Um,
let's agree to move to that. We're calling it the life plane, or the
Life
planes.
realm.
Life realm.
And the
That's
life
great.
realm, void realm. There's planes within each, but they're realms. It's bigger. Anyways, yeah, every question I had about that has been answered. So there you go, Denny. Moving on. The lock, or no, yeah, the lock did not think that the events of Balesville.
I couldn't figure out what you were talking about for a second.
I know. I was like, wait, it was. Anyways, I'm losing my mind. Just like reading over this is making me feel crazy. Okay, they didn't think that Balesville happened because of a chunk of Illumbria glitching in. Thought I'd check because you just don't know. But that it did sound like an attack on people's minds, perhaps like a powerful psychic attack, but they would have to be so powerful, or an airborne toxin. And I'm like, whoo. All I have is a question here. It's just like 10 question marks. I'm still like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Just a neurotoxin just floating around Balesville. That's all. well
or
and
like
good.
an extreme psychic attack, which I like think has like weight to it because the whole thing with Patience was that, or wait, no, the whole thing with people trying to like charity and stuff, like trying to go back to remember, like it was like she almost died from it. So it's someone like so like strong of mind or something.
I like to say, is it too much to ask for both?
Both
Why would you
a
want both?
toxin and a psychic attack.
Hangman, have you seen Balesville? That place place is a mess.
It's in the popcorn.
It's in
Oh,
the
no.
Jackson.
popcorn.
They put it in the corn,
That would be so tragic. I hope that's
and
not
it's
it.
got the juice.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Dallas, this is something we should have gone back to, I think. 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, there was a surge of
this
void
is
energy
what
in
we should have
Medozin.
asked more about.
Yeah, and we're like, we know that number has significance because like that is relevant to the stranger and also Reynard as well. But we should have, well, now that we're piecing everything together, we should have been like, when did Vishtalk separate?
I
That's-
would put money on the idea that it was 3,000 years ago, but
3
we
to
should have
4,000.
asked somebody.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't know if we would have gotten an answer on that.
Well, we can. You're still planning on getting Huon on the phone, right? To ask
Yeah,
him about
you
what
can ask
head
him about
he
that
was.
too.
So if you want to just ask him, like, by the way, when did those heads become separate? Just curious.
True.
He himself did say he only existed. He was 700-ish years old, I believe, because I went back and rewatched that bit because
Well,
I was trying to figure this out earlier.
Sure, I think that's
But
fine.
that it exists
though.
in cycles, I think. So I'm not sure he
Yeah.
himself would know, is what I'm saying.
Well, maybe it's
Maybe.
the Avatar.
We should
like,
ask.
thing. So
ask
like, we
him
should have.
to ask the Lorekeeper if he decides to head
Right,
down
he can
there to
just
punch
pop
a
down
hole.
True. I mean, they're taking a long fucking. But maybe they'll talk to someone that isn't us.
Wait, Anthony, why did you do this? Come on.
What?
He's gonna punch a hole. He's gonna punch a hole.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, dude. Easiest punch of his life.
I think he's just gonna breathe like a freaking laser beam and just.
He might
the
start with that, but then he'll
fuck are we
punch it,
talking
and it will
about?
just like.
We're jumping ahead.
This is irrelevant. You can continue, Christy.
Okay, I don't
I just-
really understand what we're talking about at all, so it's good.
Dragon Man's gonna punch a big hole in the mountain.
Okay, cool. Love that for him. This is another mini one that they thought it was strange that Layla is evil because most sphinxes are celestial and pretty good. So what's up with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, cool. Super interesting. I was also just thinking earlier when we were talking about Malden wanting to become a god, that was also something Layla asked me to figure out is how to become a god. So now I'm like, those are interesting, similarities also.
It does.
I don't know. I know nothing.
Yeah, I still wonder if there is some sort of connection between Layla and the stranger. Obviously, for a while they were like, what if they were the same person? But I don't think that's true. But like maybe Layla is working for the stranger because what if the stranger wants to like achieve godhood again? And, like obviously
Yeah.
that's like why they were cursing so many people, but maybe it's like things are taking too long. These people I cursed are fucking useless. Maybe because I cursed them. I
Oh,
don't know.
sorry. It's because you
Prob-
cursed
it's probably not
9-year-olds. I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
No, I've had that thought for a long time as well, and I think it's funny that now I'm jumping ahead again, but in like the next episode, 2 episodes from now, Teni re-brought up the idea of like a renegotiating the contract with the stranger, and that was a thought I had back when I was originally thinking that Wilela and the stranger were friends, and that Wilela was good, and I was like, oh, maybe I could like figure if I'm like, oh, we got like all these friends here, let's just talk about it and see what we can figure out. But now that Wilela's not good, I don't know if that's a good idea anymore. Because I mean, I could see a connection between them. Or maybe she hangs out with Malden. Maybe they're not a sphinx at all.
God.
Who knows? You know?
Maybe they're all hanging out.
Maybe
in
they're
some
Malden.
basement somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe Layla is Malden.
Sure. Why not?
But then,
Anything's
but they
possible.
were asking so many questions about Malden, weren't they?
That's true.
As
Were
a
they?
ploy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
To make
they're
me
all
think.
like, "Oh, I've got
Yeah,
a
that's
special
right.
interest in your friend Abe. What's his deal?"
Yeah. That's true.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
Whoa, throwback. Okay. So here's the other thing that I really wish we had pursued further, but at this point my brain had turned into lava. They did not know anything about the Tempest Expanse, but mentioned that they were very familiar, or like that there was like a connection to the Kingdom of Rubia, which has since fallen. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't we ask? Like, why? Like, did they know that place specifically? Like, because we kind of knew about the king from the assassin stuff.
Yeah. That was part of
Yeah.
the assassin, or that came up when we were talking about the Shade Hand.
Okay.
And the King of Rubia was the first ruler underground. Also,
That's
Am I
true.
making that up?
That is
Something like
correct.
That's true. Ah, look at me.
Like in the
Civilization fled underground, and there was
Like
a
in
ruler amongst them in Starshire, and they were like, he's a king, we'll let him continue to be a king. He ended up being bad at his job. When he died, they replaced the entire system.
With the yeah.
Whoa.
I only remember this because you and I went deep into this in a coffee shop not too long ago.
Me?
Christy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I was like, we came to that realization. We're like, what the fuck? Yeah. So, and like, it could just be that like it's kind of they just happened to mention that maybe they were familiar with like other specific places in Circumund, and we just didn't really ask anything
In the
relevant.
Tempest Expanse, it's possible that that's like the only major place in the Tempest Expanse as well, right?
Yeah, that could be it too. I just like was wondering like, I don't know if Rubia had any sort of other significance. And now I'm annoyed. No, I'm not gonna know.
Okay, I don't know if I brought this up, but tidbit for the history characters.
Ooh, oh my god.
I mean,
what?
Rubia was like the main city of human civilization.
Oh, like pre-desolation?
Yeah, because like the dwarves had Brol Bar and Meadows Basket. Elves kind of had Wildeglen, and there were Dragonborn down in like the Dragonfire Wastes and toward the east coast, and the humans had Rubia and the northern end of the Tempest Expanse.
Whoa, okay. And I'm guessing it hasn't been... Yeah, I'm guessing its proximity to the Tempest Expanse is why it hasn't really been...
Well, the dragons moved north, and that was the first thing that got hit.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, nowadays, though, like, similar to how, like, Wildeglen hasn't been, like, really ventured into. Same with, I'm guessing, because it's so close to the Tempest Expanse.
Well, that and because the reestablishment of the civilization basically started at Brol Bar and spread out, Rubia is so far away.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. We're getting to the end. This is actually my last point for the Lorekeeper thing, so you're welcome, Teni. Because Abe did an amazing crit and was able to receive like the memory chip of the century, we get to watch a little video of Illumbria's last moments, which was horrifying. And the Lorekeeper was not aware of any reason why the crystal would have been activated, so someone must have tampered with it. A little someone named Manon, perhaps? And we do get an image of them, kind of. So it's a gnome, shorter than usual, wearing wizard's attire, with a cubone-like skull helmet. Which is not helpful. We don't really know what their face looks like, unfortunately.
We know a wizardly gnome.
We do know a wizardly gnome.
Are you talking about Charity?
Whose name also starts with M. Maramis.
Go to what? Maramis?
He's a halfling, Ryan.
I was like, he's not a no.
Damn, he's also not a wizard.
What is he?
No, I like this.
He's a bard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
He's the head of the
Makes sense.
bards.
I thought he was a wizard.
Bartologist, yep.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Never mind.
Fucking Maramis
I mean,
is the
no,
big
go ahead and
bad.
follow that trail.
Maramis is the true villain.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
some of
my
you guys
dear
have been
boy.
fucking thinking that from the beginning. Some people were like, I don't trust Maramis. I'm like, just the first one who's been nice to us. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the
Can't be
hell?
nice-
What's that
can't
about?
be nice to us. It's illegal.
That's illegal. It's against the law.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we have a lead of sorts.
I guess. Oh my god, what if it is charity though?
I don't think it is Charity, but I think Charity might know something.
Yeah, we have to
You
like.
know, I think
well,
we can chat with her.
I'm gonna freaking ask her when we're back in Rollbar. That's for sure. What if it was like Charity is his daughter or something?
Well, that's like,
Oh shit.
you know, that doesn't feel
My
insane
dad
to me.
disappeared 300 years
Yeah.
ago and I don't know why.
Yeah. And she wouldn't necessarily know. Maybe that's why he took on Kardrak's face.
Oh no.
To be like, oh, I don't want my daughter to recognize me.
Huh.
Damn. Okay, we do need to go to talk to Charity
Yeah.
ASAP because it can't be like a via sendings. We gotta see her face.
Well, maybe she won't know though.
I mean, if we say like,
She's-
if we say Manon and she's like, oh, unless she doesn't know
That's
her.
my dad's name.
What if she
Yeah.
doesn't know who her
Manon
papa
Cozy
is?
Bug.
Yikes.
And I will teach you all to rule the day that you heard the name Cozy Bug. And then fire and Hellstone.
Oh no.
God.
I call this one Cozy Bug's Finger of Death.
The cozy bug curse.
Hey, there you go.
All right. So that
Wait, can
was
we talk about how, like, wait, how did this happen though? How did Adam know to talk to the Sentry and get a memory chip? And how did that work out to become this whole revelation at the end? How did this work?
Yeah, Adam, can you explain your brilliance to us? please?
Yeah. What part of your brain thought that you should do that?
I play a lot of sci-fi games and read a fair number of sci-fi related books. So,
Okay.
Attaboy.
robot's gonna, especially because it's an intelligent robot, it's gonna
Yeah.
have some sort of processor or memory. And everybody knows you can talk a robot into doing anything. So,
this is common
Classic.
knowledge that we all
Really?
have.
Classic
easy.
robot lore.
yeah,
Definitely you could talk it into taking his brain out.
yeah, especially when they're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy, dude.
Like, I know that you guys don't get together and talk about things beforehand, but sometimes things happen in this game, and I'm like, I swear you had to have planned this.
I
It's
know.
so good sometimes.
It blows my mind. It's like I love it.
It was so fascinating to be thrown these hurdles too, because Adam proposed that, and I was like, well, roll and we'll see what happens. And then he rolled so well, and I was like, well, I gotta reward this thinking. So when you guys got to the Lorekeeper, I was like, oh yeah, this is how we're gonna reward them. First
Crazy.
perspective view of the end of Illumbria.
So cool.
Really cool.
I have a theory that I came up with today. Yeah, just it's like a balaclava now. So argon veludium, when it comes into contact with a like bioorganic creature, it turns them completely into metal, right? Okay. Would this not be a way to increase your supply of it if you turned a bunch of organic creatures into metal and then melted them down? Would you not get more argon veludium out of it?
Oh,
Perhaps.
okay. Interesting theory.
And if you perhaps now had access to a city as its new reeve, maybe you might have like a bunch of people that you would be able to potentially do that with.
Oh, no.
Very, very interesting theory.
And secondary to that is Manon could have collected argon veludium during his visit to Illumbria, and that is now how Kardrak has a stash of argon veludium.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's not great.
No.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Huh.
going back to
That's a
the
very
bar
good
is a good
theory.
idea, gang.
Yeah.
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 Just again, like I cannot stop thinking, especially now that there's been like a little bit of talk of like, oh, like a airborne toxin or something. I'm like, if you just like flew over a city with argon veludium,
Rough dust them.
you just you could just
You'd hit some
because
people,
it's just like you need a single drop, right? And then it just like does the rest, right?
Well, putting a drop of argon veludium on organic material, it doesn't like consume it, but it like, well, it kind of consumes it. Yeah, I guess it's a good word for it.
Isn't it like how isn't it just like you need like
Entire conversion.
conversion? That's the
yeah,
word.
oh, I hate that. But that's what I'm saying. So it would be literally so easy to make like a freaking like mass like chemical weapon out of this, right?
Well, they'd have to be able to like make it a vapor, and then they'd have to find a way to.
What if you just rained it down on a city?
Yeah, like what if you
Anyone
made
who's
like
standing outside gets hit?
like an acid rain type thing.
That's fair.
know?
Yeah, that would
Sky
be.
ships do be existing.
Yeah, you
He's-
could definitely
yeah.
do that.
And
So-
we know none of them go over Balesville regularly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's never happened. There's no record
But
of
like,
it.
Never
maybe
will.
it
Yeah,
won't
never.
be Balesville in its entirety. But if Manon Kardrak's plan is to like, I mean, Brolbar is a really big city, lots of people on the streets.
Yeah.
So
Or
But like, to what end though? What's
Hear
the
me
point of turning everyone into metal?
money. No,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Why?
We've got to
not-
have money.
I'm not evil, so I don't really know.
Yeah, but like, if everyone's metal, what are you doing with that money? You're just gonna sit on a pile of metal people and money?
Well,
I have a theory.
I don't think it's money, but it's
Okay,
just
what's
like
your
it's
theory?
like
What? Well, like again, Kardrak's trying to rise the midnight sun. And what better material to construct something you don't want to break out of?
Yeah, Argon Veludium, but what's he doing with it?
He's gonna build a new midnight sun.
Why?
I'm not even convinced now that that is the
What's it-
truth, because like that's kind of what we thought when we thought it was Kardrak, but knowing what we know now that Manon is like the reason why the crystal shattered in the first place, like
I
Well,
don't
he
know.
activated the
He
crystal. Like, does he
activated it.
hate gods?
Oh,
Like he was the one who like triggered, like brought all the gods into the crystal, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that the goal to like
to-
rid the world of?
There's
Probably
a lot
just
of,
to like bring the void in, is my guess. But
way I
Yeah.
see it, there's a lot of different people and entities trying to become gods. I wouldn't be surprised if this man is also on this list. But oh shit, I just had something. Oh yeah, they talk a lot about the midnight sun rising, but they never talk about it setting. I think they want it to be in the sky forever. So
Yeah.
build it out of something indestructible. And if you touch it, you die. You become a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that part I can't speculate on. I think the Argon Veludium thing is just like, you know, it's like a self-sustaining resource if you use it in that way. And it's a good way to be like, oh, you're my political enemy. Like have a glass, or I guess if you put it into water, that wouldn't work. Does it would turn the water into metal?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of how you could poison someone with it.
Oh, I don't know about poison, but you could just touch them with it and then
Yeah, you could just be like, whoop, blip, and then
a fine addition to
Pop.
my collection.
Beedly-bop-boop.
What are those
Yeah.
gummy hands? You just fling it at someone.
That's so fun.
oh my god, what if someone like dipped an arrow into it and then shot
Oh
that?
no!
I feel like
Just-
that would work.
That's a
Somebody
great way
going
to do
around
it.
with like a clown flyer, just like, eh.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
smell the flower.
I'm
Oh,
just picturing like during one of the eventual meetings that may or may not take place between the future Reeve of Balesville and the Learned Circle. Kardrak's just gonna walk in there with a special glove that has drops of Argon Veludium on it and just go to
Yeah.
someone who doesn't agree with him.
It would be so easy is the
Yeah.
thing. And like
Yep.
we were not given any information on how to like reverse that, if at all. So
I feel like not for lack of trying. I feel like we asked a couple times about that.
Yeah, we
we-
did.
we
Yeah.
did, but before we had like their trust, because like they really like gave us a bit more information when we told them what we knew about Illumbria like having fallen, and then like showing them like the chip. And so
Yeah.
we asked prior to that, and the way we were asking was like a little shady because they were like, why do you want to know about using this as a weapon?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
They
Fair.
give us anything after that
for
about Argon Veludium?
No, I don't think you revisited the conversation topic.
there's so many other things.
There was so
happening,
much
like-
going on.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a natural resource to Illumbria, but there's a limited supply. Doesn't have to be. You can make your own. But hey, Abe can touch it, so
Yeah.
great.
Great.
Abe,
Oh,
can you
good.
It all
form
rests
yourself-
on Abe.
Yeah.
One
You just
player
form yourself
adventure,
into a
let's go.
shield.
Well, we have. Are they made out of Argon Veludium now? I wonder. We have shields at least from Illumbria, so.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Would we be able to tell if it was made out of Argon Veludium, though?
I mean, does it look like it's made like out of what Abe's made out of? wouldn't it be that easy? Like if it's just the same kind of metal? Like
Wow.
Lots of metal looks similar.
The shield is a bit more chromy looking, whereas Abe is, a dark steel kind of coloration.
Gotcha. Okay.
However, Abe was also sitting underground for like 50 years and then into a museum and then into a laboratory where they were studying his chest.
Needs to be polished or something.
Yeah. Just give him a good shining.
Oh, Lord. Argon stresses me out more than anything else. Like, it's such a terrifying concept to me that, like...
It's cool.
Though Abe has taken a dip in a few rivers and lakes and sacred pools, so he's probably as clean as he'll be.
Good to know.
As clean as he needs to be.
Well, I mean, we've seen, like, liquid argon, though.
Yep.
So, was it the same color as Abe, or was it shinier?
It was mercurial.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna move away from this because it stresses me out. But yeah, that pretty much finishes our time in Illumbria, I believe. We make our way out. The bear turns into a light staircase, called it. And we head on up to the Cloud City with no Archdruid in sight. But hey, we find the body of a storm giant who used to be the keeper, and nothing bad happens after that point. I don't think.
The end.
No, we took the bear way to heaven and
Yeah.
we're hanging out.
The bear puns existed.
Yes.
There was 10,000 bear cubs.
Yeah.
10,000 bear
Oh.
puns in the chat. It was a beautiful time.
We love bears.
Bears.
Well, then the episode ended, so yeah, nothing bad did happen. after
Nothing
that.
bad did happen. And if you want to
Not
know
bad.
whether or not that is actually a true statement, you're going to have to come back in just 5 minutes while some of us take a bio break. And then I'll let you know what happens.
Or the next episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for those of you on YouTube watching the VOD.
Yeah, go get yourself some chips, and we'll see you in 5. Woo!
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.